Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sir Jude, and today I will be rediscussing the only topic that we tackled this week, epicenter triangulation. Okay, so let's have our first sample problem. An earthquake shook the Philippines. Seismic stations in Cebu, Palawan, and Batangas were the first to detect body waves. Locate the epicenter where the earthquake originated. Okay. So remember, in the problem set that I gave you, we start first with local, an example, using three cities in the Philippines. Okay? So in the table first, you are given the time arrivals of the P wave and the S wave, both of which are considered body waves. So bakit hindi sinasama dito si love wave tsaka si rainy wave? That's because both P and S waves as body waves, they arrive earlier and faster compared to the surface waves which arrive later and slower. Okay? So Cebu, here are the P-wave arrivals for the following cities. For Cebu, it's 7 seconds. For Palawan, it's 3 seconds. And for Batangas, it's only 1 second. So from the P-wave arrival alone, we can conclude that of the three stations, the first station which detected the earthquake or the seismic waves is Batangas because in only 1 second, it already felt and recorded, no? But uh, the third and last station of these three to record or detect the seismic waves is Cebu because it took 7 seconds. Okay? For the S-wave arrival, it's also in unit in seconds, no? So Cebu, it's 103 seconds. For Palawan, 63 seconds. And Batangas, 41 seconds. So before we consult our map, let's first finish the table of values here by starting with lag time. Okay? Okay, for a while. Ayan. So, to get the lag time, because time is the first measurement we detect using the arrival of the PNS waves, no? So, to get lag time, we subtract the time of arrival of the S wave and the time of arrival of the P wave. Okay? So, for Cebu, we have 103 seconds minus 7 seconds. That will give you 96 seconds. For Palawan, we have 63 seconds minus 3 seconds equals 60 seconds. Lastly, for Batangas, you have 41 seconds minus 1 second equals 40 seconds. All right. So lag time alone cannot effectively determine the exact location of the earthquake's epicenter. No, we need the distance of the following stations from the epicenter in terms of kilometer. And to obtain the distance from the epicenter, we will use a different formula. Okay, so when it comes to distance, we're going to multiply the lag time in seconds by a constant 12.5 kilometers per second. Now, this value, 12.5 kilometers per second, is a constant. No? So, every time that we compute for distance, yan lang kaisa-isang number na i-multiply natin alongside the lag time. Now, I have no idea bakit siya 12.5 kilometers per second. I only relied on the module that grade 10 students have been using. And hindi rin doon nakaspecify kung bakit siya 12.5 kilometers per second. Kung paano nag-arrive with that. So let's just stick with this one. Okay. Anyway, in real life, we cannot pinpoint exactly where the epicenter is. No? This is just an approximation. So using the lag time we just calculated a while ago, the distance of Cebu from the epicenter is 96 seconds times 12.5 kilometers per second. It will give you 1,200 kilometers. For Palawan, you have 60 seconds times 12.5 kilometers per second, giving you 750 kilometers. And lastly, for Batangas, you have 40 seconds times 12.5 kilometers per second. That will give you 500 kilometers. Okay? So what is the significance of computing the distance from the epicenter? So from the three stations, no, we start with the one that is nearest to the epicenter, according to our calculations, Batangas, because it is only 500 kilometers. And the one that is farthest from the epicenter is Cebu, which took 1,200 kilometers. All right. So later we will find out why it is very important for us to calculate the distance from the epicenter. But since we were going to use a map, no, we cannot use all values in kilometers in our map because our map is printed, I ask you, no, in just a bond paper, whether you printed it in A4, short, or long. So, ang kasya lang po sa papel is in centimeters. That's why we have to scale these distances using another formula. So ito na yung last set of computation natin. So for the scale distance, we will divide the distance from the epicenter by 100 kilometers per centimeter. So technically, tapos na talaga tayo sa computation and distance from the epicenter. We're just scaling the distance kasi para magkasya dun sa papel na dinrowing niyo sa mapa ninyo. Alright? So, starting off with Cebu, you have 1,200 kilometers divided by 100 kilometers per centimeter. That will give you 12 centimeters. For Palawan, you have 750 kilometers divided by 100 kilometer per centimeter. That will give you 7.5 centimeters. And lastly, for Batangas, you have 500 kilometers divided by 100 kilometer per centimeter, and it will give you 5 centimeters. Okay? So because scale distance is the last set of calculations, that means we have already computed the table. We are now ready for our epicenter triangle. We just erase all the writings, online writings I did. Ayan. So, doon na tayo sa ating mapa. Eto. Ayan. So, I want demonstrate to you how to use a compass, how to measure the length of the circles using a ruler, and how to draw a circle, no? Because we already did that yesterday and this morning. So, ito yung expect nating itsura ng mga circles representing each how far the station is from the expected epicenter. So, Cebu, whose radius is 12 centimeters, is represented by a red circle. So it is the largest of the three, while Palawan, whose radius is 7.5 centimeters, is represented by the colored green circle. And Batangas, whose radius is 5 centimeters, is represented by the blue circle. No, I use different color codes for you to differentiate and distinguish one city from the other. Okay? So now, since the title of our lesson is epicenter triangulation, it's now time to find the actual epicenter of the earthquake. And the epicenter is actually the point where the three circles intersect. So the one that I marked with a star is the epicenter of the earthquake. Okay? Now, so some of you, when you drew the circles, no, a few of you were able to determine the exact location of the epicenter because the three circles actually did meet at exactly one point. While most of you, while tinanggap ko naman yung pagkakadrawing sa inyo, no, merong mga slight spaces, yung mga slight movements, rather deviations from the ones that I uh, actually designated for your output to look like. No? And that's fine because not everybody is perfect. You are human beings. Hindi lahat marunong mag-drawing ng circle. Um, yung iba first time gumamit ng compass. But I'm actually happy that this morning, no, most of you were able to adjust really fast and nag-improve yung performance nyo sa pag-draw ng circles better than yesterday. So practice lang po ng practice until you got it correct. No? Hanggang sa marunong kayo. And sa pag-compass naman po, no, it's either, bahala kayo, it's either compass yung paikutin nyo or you make the compass stationary, yung mapa yung paikutin nyo. Either way, sorry, both will yield you the results that I'm looking for. All right? So here are some of the follow-up questions. So number one, which station is the nearest from the earthquake's epicenter? So that station that is nearest from the star is none other than Batangas. Okay. Second question, which station is the farthest from the earthquake's epicenter? So, yung pinakamalayo sa epicenter is none other than Cebu. Third question, which station will be the least affected by the earthquake and why? Okay. So, pag sinabi natin least affected by the earthquake, siya yung nakakaramdam ng mahinang impact ng lindol. And mahina ang impact ng lindol kung malayo ka sa epicenter. That's why that station will fall under Cebu. Okay. And finally, which station will be the most affected by the earthquake and why? So the station that will be most affected by the earthquake is the one nearest to it kasi masyadong malakas yung pagyanig. Therefore, medyo malapit ka sa epicenter. So ang pinakamalapit among the three is none other than Batangas. All right, so once you've done plotting the three circles and the epicenter, you're basically done with epicenter triangulation. All right. So here are some of the follow-up questions for day one. So you might notice, no, bakit tatlong circles yung pinapadrawing ko sa epicenter triangulation? Why do we use three stations? So some of you answered, sir, kasi triangulation. And the prefix for triangulation is tri. And tri means three, no? So yeah, well, yun na nga. But there's a more deeper reason why we use three stations. We cannot use only one and we cannot use only two, and more than three is already exhausting to make. Imagine drawing four circles and you only have 40 minutes in our class. And some of you, no, admittedly, medyo mabagal sa pag-compute, even simple ang calculations natin. So I'm only gonna explain why hindi pwede yung less than three. Okay? Eto. So let's say, for example, you only have one circle like that, no? So sa epicenter triangulation kasi, no, we need circles overlapping. And we cannot trust one circle only because what if isang circle lang yan, pero nandito yung epicenter, yung star. So they don't meet, they don't match. It's too far. It doesn't belong. The epicenter is not even part of or the station rather is not even part of the epicenter. Okay? They don't even touch. So here's a disadvantage naman if we have two circles. So first, what if yung drawing mo is from Luzon? And what if yung isa na drawing mo is Mindanao? So the problem here is they don't have a point of intersection. You wouldn't be able to get to locate the epicenter of the circle. And here's another problem with two overlapping circles only. Kapag to lang yan, especially in this case, you have two intersections, you have two possible epicenters. So because we're only interested in one, having multiple epicenters will be confusing. Okay? And while that's also a problem, if you have three circles and even more than three circles, no, we how do I say this? Uh, I designed we designed this problem so that using three circles, you would only have one exact epicenter. All right? And as you notice, hindi lahat ng station sabay-sabay nilang nasasagap ang primary waves and secondary waves. Meron na uuna, meron na huhuli, and mas maganda kung meron tayong isa na pumapagitna. So, that's why we use three stations in epicenter triangulation. Okay, next. Let me just erase my writings. Okay, second question. What difficulties did we encounter in locating the exact location of the earthquake's epicenter? I am actually surprised and glad by the fact na hindi nyo sinagot dito ang difficulties in problem solving because kung babalikan natin kanina, you are just using simple and basic operations. Sa lag time, it's just subtraction. Sa distance from the epicenter, it's just multiplication. And sa scale distance, it's just division. So kahit elementary students, kaya-kayang i-perform yung mga yon. Okay? So, hindi pa tayo nag-deal with scientific notation. We're not using exponents. We're not using radicals. We're not using logarithms. And we're not using trigonometric functions. So, all of our calculations are, to be honest, very easy for grade 10. But the difficulties that most of you encountered is, number one, pag-measure ng length, no? Some of you nako-confuse pa sa pagbabasa ng rulers, specifically centimeters. And that will be improved and refined through practice. Number two is yung paghawak ng compass. No? Yung iba bumabalentong. Nakadepende talaga yan sa the way you handle and manipulate the compass or the map depending on choice. And number three, no, unfortunately, may mga tao talaga na regardless kahit gaano pa kaganda yung pag-compass sila, merong mga times hindi talaga nag-intercept yung three circles, which is fine, no? But in our, I specifically ask you to print using A4, no? And may mga students na nakakuha actually ng exact location of the epicenter. But even if you don't, no, basta malapit lang sa pinapahanap sa expected answer, that is fine with me. After all, in your performance task and long test, to avoid lots of confusions, lots of questions, I will be the one to check personally. Alright, so dito po muna mag-end si part 1 and I will continue with part 2 and I will upload part 2 on a later date because hindi kami nag-meet ng 10 cartwheel this morning because of the NCAI orientation. Till then, I'm Sir Jude and have a good day.